welcome. Hey, come on in for a few minutes. Let's you and I spend some time together, just sharing some thoughts, some ideas. I'm Lou Vickery, and I'm excited that you're here. Hey, how's your week been? Well, mine's been a little unusual. I had, actually I couldn't talk, and I was sharing with Dan Nerup. Dan is the producer and director of what we do here. And I was conversing with Dan about the fact that I probably gained 5 pounds for all the words that I held in during the course of the week. But last weekend, the mother of my 2 sons passed away, and made me start to think about how difficult it is for some of us to express to victims, people who are survivors of death, how sometimes we just don't know what to say. Let me tell you a story about an individual who has turned out to be a very dear friend. When he was a teenager, actually in college, 19 years of age, he and 5 other youngsters are having a joyride, drinking alcohol. And we'll call him Wally. And Wally was driving. And the unfortunate part is that the car ran off the road, hit a big tree, and killed 3 of the youngsters in the vehicle. Wally was charged with manslaughter and sentenced to 10 years in prison. He served 6. But when he got out, he made a decision that he wanted to help people deal with difficult situations. So he went back to college. He ended up getting a doctorate degree. And to this day, he's helped thousands of people to right the ship. But one of the things that we did together, we shared in one of my books, Reach Beyond and Find Your Path to Success, is he outlined with me some things that we can do to help a victim cope. Not necessarily always about death. It can be about illness, that in fact somebody gets seriously hurt, maybe been caused by someone else. But let's share some of those things together, okay? I call them the do's and don'ts of helping a victim to cope. Number 1 is, don't feel it is necessary to go back over the details. You don't have to talk about what has happened. So keep that in mind. Don't feel it's necessary to go back over the details. Number 2 is, do allow the person to go through the grieving process at their own pace. You know, when death occurs of a mate, you never know how long it may take to grieve it. Now, basically, Wally told me, he says, Lou, takes about a year. If people go longer than that in the grieving process, they probably need some help. So keep that in mind. So do allow the person to go through the grieving process at their own pace. Number 3 is, don't invalidate the person's feelings by saying something generic and often painful. Get on with your life. Cheer up, things will get better. And one I've heard many times, oh, they're in a better place. Folks, those lines don't do any good. So suspend offering, if you will, thoughts about get on with your life and cheer up, things will get better. Please understand that all you should do at this time, particularly in death, is to offer your condolences and assure the person or persons you're available to help in the future. If you need some assistance, call me. Very worthy for it. Number 4, don't let the person continually blame themselves. Be reassuring. Reassure them that they're not to blame. That was one thing Wally told me he had to deal with daily. Was all the blame that he put on himself for what had happened. So reassure people that the future is before. That is in the past. Cannot do anything about it. Certainly can do something about the future. Number 5, or is it 6? I don't know, but I do know this. Do tell the person, you're a good person, and what happened was not punishment, but something you did. Think about it, particularly in Wally's situation. Wally, he told me it was a minister that told him, Wally, you're a good person. And what happened was not any form, type of punishment, but something you did. Don't leave the person alone to think about this disaster for long periods. In other words, stay in touch. If it's somebody that's important to you, stay in touch. It's much too often it happens where we spend a little time with that person right after something traumatic has happened in their life, and then we kind of fade away. If that person's important to you, hang with them. If the person has been close to you, make sure you spend some quality time with them going forward. Don't console a grieving person. Don't, just be careful of how you console. The less said, the better. 2 of the most important things that you can bring to a grieving person is silence and presence. Be present. But you don't have to say much. Just being there, willing to listen, willing to offer some encouragement. That's important. Do show the person that you genuinely care about them as an individual, and you will be there when needed. I think I just said that. But let's do it to reemphasize the importance. Care and concern. You don't have to be there for an extended period of time and then abruptly leave. I think what happens in those kind of cases is people feel abandoned. So make your visit relatively short, but make them often. Lastly, do appreciate after the loss of a loved one, you can make a difference. After spending some time with a person and let them do most of the talking. You're not there to add advice. You're there to help them cope. So those are the points that I wanted to offer to you that Wally had helped me in my book, Reach Beyond and Find Your Path to Success. Book number 20 in the Vickery Library. I hope those points have helped. Think about it. I'm Lou Vickery, and until we meet again, keep a smile on your face. Keep optimism in your heart. No, hold it, Lou. Keep optimism on your tongue. Keep happiness in your heart. That'll work every time. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.